Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of Policy Watch. I'm Kriti Mishra. Today we'll analyse the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme of the government. One Nation, One Ration Card scheme, which will allow portability of food security benefits, will be available across the country from July 1st, 2020. This means poor migrant workers will be able to buy subsidised rice and wheat from any ration shop in the country. Currently, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Haryana, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Telangana and Tripura are 10 states where 100% POS machines have been arranged for grain distribution and all PDS shops have been connected to the internet. And to get deeper insights, I'm joined by Mr. S. Jagannathan, Joint Secretary, Department of Food and Public Distribution, and Mr. Alok Sinha, former Chairman and Managing Director of Food Corporation of India. Welcome to Raj Sabha Television, both of you. Mr. Jagannathan, let me begin the show with you. What is One Nation, One Ration Card scheme? What are the highlights of this scheme?
Basically, this One Nation, One Ration Card scheme is all about interstate portability of ration cards. It enables the beneficiaries who are taking food grains under the PDS to access the same benefits if they happen to migrate from one part of the country to the other in a seamless manner. As you know, we have been computerizing the PDS operations for quite a few years now. And this One Nation, One Ration Card of interstate portability is only a logical progression to the next level of enabling seamless public services in such an important scheme such as the PDS throughout the country. We are going to begin this on a pilot basis in the month of August by having 4 states in 2 clusters, namely Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and Maharashtra and Gujarat. These states have fully computerized their PDS operations and they are fully on board to effect this transition to interstate portability.
But I'll take that to Mr. Sinha. Mr. Sinha, historically we've had food security benefit schemes which have domicile-based access. Now we understand that 45.36 crore people or 37% of population is that of migrant labourers. How important is this scheme for migrant labourers in the country?
I think it is very important for anyone who is going to move from place to place. I think first of all the government should be felicitated for being so sensitive to the interests of consumer affairs and also all consumers. To give my own example, when I was in the government, when I got transferred once a year or once in 2 years, at the next place to get the ration card itself would take about 2-3 months, and then to start getting commodities against it would take some more time. Here I think from what I can understand, if I stay in say Delhi and if I go to Odisha next week, I just have to present myself with my Aadhaar card and prove that it is me and I get my entitlement. I think it's very good. It will also add to the nutrition value of the poor consumers.
Right, sir. It will add to the nutrition value. And also another important aspect, Mr. Jagannathan, is that of corruption and leakages. How important is this scheme for plugging leakages and curbing corruption?
True. With the help of technology, what we are doing is we are deduplicating the ration cards. Prior to this, we had embarked on weeding out bogus ration cards. In fact, in the last 5 years or so, we have managed to delete nearly 3 crore duplicate and bogus ration cards. So this has helped us to clean up the data of the public distribution system through computerization. And again, when we talk about interstate portability or One Nation, One Ration Card, the fundamental prerequisite is deduplication so that we ensure that the same person does not figure as a beneficiary in 2 different locations of the country. So technology is helping us to achieve this, and with the help of this we would be able to rightly target the beneficiaries to provide him the food grains under the PDS.
You mentioned about technology. Now we understand that around 77% ration shops in the country have POS machines. How will you ensure that states switch to seamless grain distribution system with the application of POS machines by 2020?
Yeah, in fact, what we are doing is we are creating a central data repository to get all the details of ration cards which are being maintained by the states, so that the repository acts as a clearinghouse or a server to do the cross-checking on the basis of Aadhaar authentication. So this ensures that there is no corruption or duplication of the benefits that are being passed on to the beneficiaries. So only technology can ensure all this. And when a migrant goes from one place to another, on the basis of his own Aadhaar authentication and on the basis of his validated data, it would be ensured that he is able to access the benefits which is due to him in any part of the country.
Mr. Sinha, how important this scheme for curbing corruption?
I think it is important in every respect. If I may also now put in a non-food item, I think it also will add to the integration of the country. Just imagine if I stay in Delhi and go to Odisha tomorrow and Sikkim after 1 month and I keep getting my food grains there, it gives me a feeling that I belong to the whole country. So, to that extent, it's a great thing. Secondly, I think by linking it with Aadhaar and biometric, it removes most possibilities of corruption. The food security scheme under the National Food Security Act costs more than 1 lakh crore per year.
Yes.
It is very expensive, but it is highly needed. What we have to ensure is that the subsidized food grains ultimately goes to the person or the family that is entitled to it. And if the entitled family can get it from state to state, wherever the family moves, I think it's a great boon. It will add to a one nation feeling also. So, this topic, this subject of one card, one nation itself, describes all aspects of it.
But also, sir, seeding of Aadhaar card with the ration card may also lead to exclusion in certain states, something that we've heard in Jharkhand as well?
Well, unfortunately we have heard, there's no doubt about it. I don't think we have heard too many cases of that kind. I think in a country of our size, with a population of more than 130 crore, I don't think denial of the Aadhaar has covered more than 0.00005%. Of course, the attempt of every government, every state government, every district administration should be that no one is denied an Aadhaar card. But a stray, unfortunate instance here and there should not negate the Aadhaar system. It is a very good system.
It is a good system, but also, Mr. Jagannathan, what are the steps that you'll actually unveil to ensure that there's no exclusion of beneficiaries?
In fact, we have detailed provision. If you take the National Food Security Act and its provision of coverage, the coverage is ensured on the basis of certain parameters which are quite detailed. That is number one. We are already covering nearly 81 crore people of this country under the National Food Security Act based on the 2011 census. That is number one. Come to the grassroots level, the question of accessing the food grains under the PDS, it has been made very clear to all the states, because PDS happens to be a subject matter of the states as well. It's a joint responsibility of actually distributing the food grains. We have made it very clear that notwithstanding the authentication requirement through Aadhaar, if somebody does not have Aadhaar at that point of time, we have mentioned to the states that no beneficiary, genuine beneficiary, should be turned back only for the reason of not possessing Aadhaar. We have also given a timeline which we have extended recently up to 30th September to even those of the beneficiaries who do not immediately possess an Aadhaar but are desirous of getting an Aadhaar. This is also settled in the verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court that they must have an Aadhaar if they have to access public benefits like the PDS. And apart from that, even while delivering the benefits of PDS without Aadhaar, we have exception mechanisms. We have other mechanisms or documents through which the beneficiaries can prove their bona fides and take the benefits. So, we have all safeguards and facilitators to ensure that rightful targeting of beneficiaries is ensured at all times.
So, all safeguards would be in place. Mr. Sinha, from the inception of food rationing system in our country, we've had several reforms. What are the challenges you foresee in implementation of One Nation, One Ration Card scheme?
Till it was biometrically linked, it was very easy to have bogus ration cards. Most studies, both nationally and internationally, done till about the turn of the 21st century, showed that easily 30% of the ration cards in the country were bogus ration cards. In fact, the Wadhwa committee report, Justice Wadhwa was a retired judge of the Supreme Court. His committee proved that in the national capital of Delhi, from one address, there were 34 BPL families who had been registered as cardholders. It was very clear that it was being misused very badly. I think once the manual card system went away and it is linked with biometric system, it is very difficult to have that kind of bogus card. Of course, there is no doubt that not the entire country will not probably be 100% covered by the Aadhaar card. So therefore, the attempt should be that we should cover everyone by Aadhaar card, and that if anyone is found to have been negligent in the issue of Aadhaar card, then action should be taken. But otherwise, I think I find it difficult to say anything bad about the one card, one nation system, much as I would like to, because I think both in concept and in operationalizing it by linking it with the Aadhaar card, it is above board.
So it is difficult to mention any negative point about this scheme, but also how will you ensure seamless implementation of the scheme on the ground?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there are certain technical requirements because this is a technology-based system. The first prerequisite is that within a particular state, there should be intra-state portability. So as on date, as you mentioned earlier, there are 10 states which are fully ready for intra-state. In fact, we have even seen on the field that a beneficiary within a state can go freely and take his PDS rations from some other shop, apart from the shop that is nominated for him. That has been tested and found to be working well. So, building on this intra-state portability, we are building clusters on a pilot basis to ensure that interstate portability is ensured to begin with in a limited number of states. In fact, we are also pursuing with 11 other states apart from these 10 states to come on board and strengthen their intra-state portability systems, so that sometime during next year we have a group of 20-25 states who are very much ready to join the bandwagon of interstate portability. So this system is maturing and slowly evolving, and it will come to its logical fruition in course of time.
And how has been the experience of these 10 states with the POS machines?
In fact, if you talk about intra-state portability, we have some data. We studied how well it's working. On an average, 8 to 10% of all the transactions within these intra-state portability states is happening on an interchangeable basis between fair price shops. So intra-state portable transactions are happening to that extent as of now.
And the government is also planning to integrate PDS with Depot online system. Tell us more about the DOS.
A Depot online system concerns more about the stocking and distribution of food grains. It is at a much higher level because the most basic level is the fair price shop, and the depots are the ones who stock the food grains. So we need to keep a track on, with the help of technology, on the inventory that is being received and distributed from these depots. So that would help us to integrate the total supply chain in the entire supply chain of the PDS, beginning from the delivery of food grains to the state agencies by the FCI to the delivery to the customer finally. So this is but one of the stages in the entire PDS supply chain. So integrating with the help of technology these depots which have stocks and distribution activities is only logical to ensure that we have a complete blueprint of the transaction system that goes on in the area of PDS.
Mr. Sinha, few regional parties have expressed apprehensions that who will bear the cost of additional ration cards?
Well, I think that is a matter of operations to be settled between the states and the Government of India. But to say that because it is a state subject, so therefore the states don't want to have this kind of a card system is, I think, will be going against the interest of the consumers. I am sure if you ask the consumers, they have no problem. They will have no problem at all. In fact, I would go one step further and say that this one nation, one card, this card should also include access to health, access to Ayushman. It will be a very good thing.
Can we plan something of that sort, sir? Wherein one card would serve all the purposes?
In fact, this is in fact at the in principle level, there is broad consensus on having a unified kind of a service delivery system based on technology and identity. As was rightly mentioned about health, you also have portability now in driving licenses. So wherever you have citizen-centric services operating and wherever you have permission of technology, I think the provision of a unified service platform, combining all these services on the basis of a few parameters of identity and other indicators of technology is possible.
But one of the apprehensions also mentioned by few states, who will bear the cost of additional food grain to be supplied to the migrant workers?
In fact, here there is no additional cost involved. We are basing this whole system on the basis of the entitlements that have been mandated under the National Food Security Act. So the beneficiaries who have to lift their food grains will continue to pay the same issue prices that are mandated and or fixed under the National Food Security Act. So there are no issues regarding prices under the portability scheme.
So there's going to be no additional cost. That should allay the concerns of few states expressing that concern. Also, Mr. Sinha, tell us how important is this scheme for eliminating malnutrition and hunger by the year 2022 as envisioned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
You know, suppose I am a BPL family household chief and I live in Delhi, but sometimes I go to a faraway state with or without my family to work there. If I had to buy food grains there in the open market, I'd have to pay much more. So therefore, if my income outgo is less on the food grains because of this scheme, I think I'll eat better, I'll eat more, my family will eat more. Therefore, the malnutrition levels will go down. It is good for the nourishment of children and the whole family.
So your take on elimination of hunger?
In fact, in India, through the National Food Security Act, which has been in operation since 2013, the coverage has been to the extent of 81 crore people, and which will be revised in the next census. So in terms of coverage under the National Food Security Act, we are covering some of the most vulnerable sections, namely the Antyodaya families who get 35 kg per month as a family, and the priority households where the members of the family get 5 kgs per month of food grains. So as far as the extent of coverage of the population or the quantum of food grains supplied to these target groups is concerned, there is no shortfall or dearth of it. We are also having enough food stocks in the country. So from the supply side as well as the targeting side, we have not left any stone unturned. So we are fully geared to meet future challenges, both in terms of the extent of coverage that may be required in the future based on our actual numbers, on the basis of agreed principles of identification and targeting.
So you wanted to add on it?
Well, I would say that because you asked me whether it will add to the nutrition levels. You know, the main problem in a poor country for the BPL families is access to food grains at a fair price. If I get it all the time, no matter where I am going to work, I think it is good for me and the family.
Absolutely. So on that note, thank you so much for talking to us. So the focus is to improve efficiency and also delivery of services. That's all we had for you in this edition of Policy Watch. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.